Okay.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who submitted their dues payments and recommitted to the club's mission over the coming year. It's very much appreciated. As a reminder, we're at the Columbia Club on the third Thursday of each month. On October 16th, our key clubbers are joining us on their fall break. They'll be sharing their experiences about attending the centennial celebration earlier this summer at the Key Club International Convention. On November 20th, former meteorologist Chuck Lofton will join us. And that is on November 20th. I'll be on Zoom again on November 6th and November 13th. We're confirming dates with Jeff Darren Muse. He's a hiker, cancer fighter and writer of Deer Park Ranger, Essays on Manhood, Restlessness, and the Geography of Hope. Some of our best speakers or authors, so look forward to that. Roger is not on the call today, how dare he, but he wants to share that the next lunch bunch at Iozo's is Monday, November 10th. If you're a past president, be on the lookout for information on the Career and Civic Awards and a dinner honoring the nominees in the coming month. The link to bell ringing is on the homepage of the website. I actually just signed up this morning, so it is working. You'll need to install the Google Sheets app if you plan to use the mobile device to sign up. 1 hour slots are available, and it's at Kroger again. They're off of Binford Boulevard. The available dates are Friday, the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th of December. So come all sign up. Volunteer opportunities are also available on the Salvation Army website for Coats for Kids, set up on November 17th and cleanup on November 18th. We'll talk a little bit about our little history nugget that we found last week. So we had a speaker from the Kurt Vonnegut Museum and Library, and I had mentioned that we had I had seen the original charter documents of the club. We've got them, I think, digitally here at Kiwanis International, and that there was a Vonnegut in the original charter membership, and looks like Kelly did a little research. Kelly, did you do it or did they do it?
Oh, I did it.
Oh, you're my hero. And found out that yes, indeed, there was a Vonnegut that was a charter member of the club. Discovered that Anton Vonnegut was the first cousin of Kurt Vonnegut Jr. and that he was, I think, he ran a Vonnegut Hardware, which was basically on the corner of Washington and Meridian, and where that Hard Rock Cafe used to be. Expanded to 12 branches and was, big part of downtown until the mid 60s. So Anton went to Cornell and began working at the hardware store, and then later at Vonnegut Machinery Company. And it was actually Vonnegut Machinery Company that was at Washington and Meridian. So interesting stuff. As was mentioned earlier, quite a few movers and shakers of Indianapolis have made their way through the Kiwanis Club of Indianapolis in the last 110 years, and it seems like they all attended Shortridge High School. Chuck, can you give us an update on football?
Oh, sure. Thank you, President Jeff. Our 69th annual football lunch is Thursday, December 4th at the Colts Gridiron Hall. And if you haven't been there, it's a fabulous venue, and it's something not to be missed. The tickets are $30, or you can sponsor a team table for $200, which includes one ticket. All the info is live on our website, indykiwanis.org/football. Justin Dixon, who coordinates the all-county team, is sending out info on 16 county coaches. we'll be doing the same for city coaches and girls flag coaches. And the girls flag program is a really big expanding program that the Colts are really behind and pushing. Our committee meets on Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m. and we welcome others to join in, especially once we select scholarship recipients. Since 1997, $58,500 has been awarded to 28 academic MVPs. Since 2005, 20 great players have been recognized and 17,500 awarded. So please feel free to join us. Yeah. And that is not me.
I was going to say that's Wedcar sounds like he or she's in a coffee shop.
And the crowd roars.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Greg. Hello. I wanted to remind Chuck that we definitely want to try to get membership brochures to that December 4th. We can get some wonderful new members from that.
Yes, we've already
event that we're hosting. I know. And also, thanks. Just a reminder. Jeff, I have this introductory
I was just going to say,
comment
while you've got the mic, please give us the thought of the day.
Well, in keeping with our speaker, and we welcome her and welcome the club having such luminaries. We're all luminaries, we're all legends, and we're so happy to be carrying on the tradition at Kiwanis. So in keeping with this food concept discussion today, as you know, the fall migration is going on now of animals and birds and butterflies going south to find food sources or to meet with their cohorts to find sources of food. And I think that's something that we also want to think about as far as the importance of food and those who don't have it. And we try to do what we can to help in that regard. But when we see the flying sandhill cranes going south and the monarchs going south and the hummingbirds going south, there's a migration that's going on now all over the world, just in the northern hemisphere, for going south to find food sources, and also migration of human beings trying to find food sources. So I think our topic is very broad. Well, it's narrow, but it's broad. And so I wanted to just keep that in focus as far as what is going on around us in the fall migration to find food sources for species in our world. Thank you.
Thank you. Seems
That's
like
it.
this time of year, Emily will be out in the backyard and I'll hear the unmistakable sound of the cranes. I'll look up and I'll see a good
Yep.
number of them headed south. They definitely have
Usually,
an unmistakable sound.
It is, in fact, unbelievable. Early December, late November, the monarchs are making their way to Mexico, the ones that can make it across the Gulf, and that's a communal effort of I don't know if it's food so much as survival. The hummingbirds are definitely looking for food and across the Gulf, and people are looking for food, and so we have to take into account those who are less fortunate, and that's why we at Kiwanis go forward to try to help. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Greg. Mary, update on grants.
I didn't see her.
Mary there?
Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can now.
Okay, so thank you for all who volunteered to be on the selection committee. We've got 48 applicants this year. I don't know if that's a record or not, but we're going to evaluate them and come up with the top people, the top organizations at 6 p.m. on the 28th of this month. Kelly has put everything online, so go to the site that she has indicated and work out, prioritize the ones that you want, and there we go. And then we'll get them all distributed by early January, I think. So once again, it's great, and I just love giving out money to all these wonderful organizations. That's it.
Thank you, Mary. Steve Farrell, please introduce us to our speaker for today.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, I'm honored to introduce our speakers today, Larry Dickerson and Jolene Ketzenberger. We're going to talk about the World Food Championships. Larry is the founder director of Culinary Crossroads. He's a native of Middletown, Indiana, and spent 25 years in Michigan working at GM, but returned to Indiana, and interested to hear about his journey. And then Jolene, I think we all remember Jolene from the Indianapolis Star as the food writer there. And she hosts Eat, Drink, Indy on WFYI radio and is co-founder of the Fisher's Test Kitchen. I was surprised to learn she's originally from Shelbyville, so a fellow Shelbyville Golden Bear with me. But I will turn it over to Larry and Jolene to tell us about the World Food Championships.
Awesome. Well, thank you, folks. It's a pleasure to be here, and enjoyed the intro conversations that were there. It made me think my significant other Ginny and I have a beautiful place down in the Low Country, Data Island, between Beaufort and Hilton Head, and that whole area. We love all the different species of birds and that come through there, and sounds like we've got a bunch of subject matter experts. We're looking at them saying, "What the heck is that?" Now we take a picture. I'll send it to you all, and you'll have it there in a heartbeat. But it's great to be here with you. It's great to be speaking to a group with an organization that has a phenomenal legacy in its in its own right, and compliments to you for all the work that you do. And with that in mind, as you're talking about, yes, I grew up in Middletown, Indiana, east of Anderson, at the time when there was probably 65, 70,000 people that were living in Anderson, 15 to 16,000 of them working for one of the two GM component divisions. And I did work for GM for a while, graduated, actually, it's now Kettering University, was General Motors Institute. So I used to make the migration back and forth up to Flint every 6 weeks. But then I departed from there about 5 years after completing graduation, and embarked upon a career that took me to several places around the country, including some 25 years up in Michigan. The work that comes with Culinary Crossroads comes along from coming back to Indiana, back home again in Indiana, if you will. I'd spent a lot of my time working in travel and tourism promotion with state tourism organizations, convention and visitors bureaus all around the country, which in turn took me to spend a lot of time living in those areas. And obviously, food and culinary is integral to anything that has to do with travel and tourism. So we learned an awful lot about the culinary and hospitality industry. And when I came back to live in Indianapolis full time about 10, 11 years ago, I was at the point in my career where I wanted to apply some of those different experiences that I'd had throughout my career to see where I could come and give back, if you will. Had some ideas about how thought tourism promotion should be different in this day and age. When you have the technology that we have today, that role of travel and tourism organization changes. It's sort of like travel agencies have changed in that it used to be you had to have them for the functional utility, but now they're more in terms of subject matter expertise and sort of helping you along. So we had discussions. I had the opportunity at the time to sit down with Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch, and as many of you know, looks over three important areas of the state agencies. One was with travel and tourism, which is now the Indiana Destination Development Corporation, also the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Office of Community and Rural Affairs. So she had her hands in all things travel, culinary, and agriculture, and came up with some different ideas of how we should go about promoting the state. In the course of those discussions, though, one of the things that we thought about was there an opportunity to create a narrative that would help to define or redefine the state of Indiana. And that's where we came up first and foremost with Culinary Crossroads. Culinary Crossroads, the narrative is the people, products, places, and services that define Indiana's culinary landscape and make it the place where people want to live, work, and play. The idea behind that was the low-hanging fruit would be that we'd get more people to go to our restaurants, go to our farmers markets, buy our proteins and produces. The more strategic side of it was built around that if we could start to get not just people around the state and around the Midwest, but around the country to get reintroduced to Indiana through coming in and experiencing our culinary scene, then we had a lot of great things to talk about that went above and beyond culinary. Our access to the greatest colleges and universities that anywhere in the state are within 30 to 45 minutes. Obviously, our transportation system that we have, the proximity of several global brands in all different types of sectors that are leading the world. And if we could start that conversation, then we thought that it would make people say, you know what, in this day and age, with where we are, Indiana should be given another look in terms of that kind of a place. And I think maybe one of the most attractive places in the country to bring your family to live, work, and play. So that I give you that background because it was through that we identified and started the pursuit of bringing the World Food Championships to Indianapolis and to Indiana. I found out about it during the same time. This is now 2018 through a chef that many of you know of, Executive Chef Craig Baker, who's now over at the Intercontinental, but he's had a number of startups and introduced to other chefs in the area. And they said, you know, if we could find a way to raise the awareness of what we were doing here in the culinary space, that would be very beneficial and think that people would be really interested in it. Well, Craig had been going to the World Food Championships, which this year will be the 13th year of the World Food Championships, and said, well, you should come down and experience the World Food Championships, which at that time were being held in Orange Beach, Alabama, prior to when they made their way to Dallas, Texas for 3 years afterwards. When it moved to Dallas, and we were starting to think about how do we bring this narrative of Culinary Crossroads out, going to the World Food Championships and establishing a relationship with that asset, we thought would be very beneficial. So we launched Culinary Crossroads. This is now in 2019. And we promoted the group of Team Indiana, Craig Baker, some 8 to 10 competitors at that time, and went down to promote them in Dallas, Texas. We brought the Lieutenant Governor with us. She helped us in raising the capital to launch Culinary Crossroads and to activate in Dallas, and went down there. And the first day that we were out on the activation, one of the first things that the Lieutenant Governor said, well, why isn't this in Indianapolis? That literally was in the fall of 2019. And we said, you know, it should be in Indianapolis, but it will take us some time. And I will tell you that there's 5 years worth of pursuit from 2019 till when we brought it here last year for the first time in 2024. 13 to 1,500 home cooks, professional chefs, professional barbecue teams from some 42 plus states and 15 to 20 different countries competing in 10 different categories. If and when they win those categories, there's a $10,000 prize for those winners. And the winners of those categories then reconvene recently in Bentonville, Arkansas for the actual World Food Champion. And last year, in his first year of competing, Colin Hilton from the Cunningham Restaurant Group competed, won his category, and went on down to Bentonville and ended up becoming the World Food Champion. So that was a great way to start having the World Food Championships in Indiana by having one of our own members from Indiana and specifically from the Cunningham Group become the World Food Champion. So he will be defending that championship this year, the 16th through the 19th, out at Farm Bureau Pavilion. We'll go back into some other questions and comments and talk a little bit more about how this feeds and helps us with our mission for Culinary Crossroads. But I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, what I would call the chef whisperer, in Jolene, who I had the opportunity to meet with when we held what was called the final table, actually here in Indianapolis in the spring of 2020. Jolene, talk to the group here today a little bit about what people will see and what's involved just from the competition standpoint, the chef's talents, and some of just the, be inside the ropes information about the World Food Championships.
Well, I know we do have a sizzle reel that we can show so that you could get just a little bit of a taste of that. So Kelly, if we could show that, that might be a good place to start.
Awesome.
Oh, there we go.
Welcome back to the 2024 World Food Championship.
It's a full emotional roller coaster out here. I want it so bad. The money is life-changing.
Realize they are competing for a purse of over $450,000.
If you're going to put it on the plate, it will be judged.
I don't play favorites. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not.
This is going to be a winner.
The window is now open. You hear those sirens?
All right, everybody. You hear that whistle. You know that means get the hell out of the way. Dude, you better run. Oh, no. Disqualified.
Were you happy with how you were able to meld those flavors?
Did you read that somewhere?
Gonna have a lot of international flair, so we're excited about that.
We need to bring World Food Championship to Dubai. This stuff will change your life.
There's so much going on here at the World Food Championships. Make sure you make all of the rounds because there are so many different little things to explore.
There are so many great partners here at WFC who bring the energy to our fans and the competitors. It's really unbelievable.
You should all be giving yourselves a massive round of applause right now.
They just lit up this entire stadium.
Indianapolis completely grew out the red carpets for us all week long.
We have had a blast up here. It has been phenomenal.
I had a great team and we all work together and we focus on what we do well.
I'm just very grateful.
Let's give a round of applause to our new champions.
We have just crowned 12 new World Food Category champions who will now move on to the final table.
Thank you.
Well, there we go. So yes, they will absolutely see us here in 2025. So we are so excited that the World Food Championships is back. And LD, anything you wanna get going with that?
Yeah, well, you saw there a couple things for those of us here that's taking place in the beautiful Farm Bureau Pavilion. This is not your daddy's swine barn anymore that you have out there. It just is it's one of the many reasons that we say that having the World Food Championships is so important, not just to Indianapolis, but the state, because it becomes a very leverageable asset. They take the pavilion and convert it into 22 20-station kitchen arenas that they have for those championships. So it's really exciting to see the use of that facility. What we did when we pursued in bringing it here, as we were talking about with Culinary Crossroads of people, products, places, and services, we thought, wow, if we could bring this competition to Indiana, there's no better place for us to show. We have the people and our chefs that are there. We have products. We have a lot of our private sector protein and produce providers that are sponsors or involved in it. We have places to where people learn from where our chefs come from or talk about where our sponsors are located. Items like Maple Leaf Farms, which many of you know is located up in northern Indiana. They process some 50,000 ducks a day and are the first or second largest processor and distributor of duck products. And those stories go on and on about Indiana and around the state. So when they come in, what we're looking at is that we look at it we have these ambassadors that come in from around the country and around the world, and they get a chance to see firsthand what we have to offer here in Indiana. In terms of from a fanfare side of it, you saw there in the sizzle reel, yes, those are referee shirts that are on. They have cheferees. Those competitions are 90 minutes. I think they may be going back to 60 this year, Jolene, or
Yes, in the
they've
final
trimmed them
round.
back. But that the idea that you go in here and you get a chance to see what these chefs do in true team competition. There's a methodology. Jolene can talk chapter and verse. It's called the EAT methodology, which talks about they have to execute what they said that they were going to do with their menu. It has to have an appeal or an attractiveness that is judged around. And finally, very important, it has to have a taste to it that matches up with what they said they were going to provide. And that's how all of the competitors are judged, by these judges that have gone through that methodology. And we have a whole host of our chefs and even laymen that go through the certification process. So they'll be actively involved that's out there. When folks come in on Saturday, they also will have a chance, if they go in there, there's a lot of different competitions. We will have the junior chef competitions sponsored by Ivy Tech Culinary School and Indiana Pork Producers. And there you get a chance to see, the next set of leaders in the culinary space, not only here in Indiana, but from around the country. They have the armed services that are involved. There's a battle of the branches. And as many of you may know, but it's really interesting, culinary and feeding is so important to all the branches. And there's a lot of real talent in those branches, so they bring their teams in to compete. There's also a last chance qualifier that takes place. I see they pulled the schedule up there. So if you go to the worldfoodchampionships.com, and we'll throw that up at the end of today's meeting, you can look at that schedule and figure out when you'd like to come in. On Sunday, it will be jam-packed because they will run all 10 of the final competitions will be held. So you will come out of there on that day at the end of the day with 10 of the championships being crowned. I'm going to stop there for a moment and see if any of you all have any questions just about the championships. And then we'll talk to you a little bit. I'll let Jolene, then we'll talk a little bit more about the initiative of Culinary Crossroads. Jolene?
Yeah, so we have a question. We want to hear a little bit more about the cheferees. And they are folks that are well versed in the culinary field, particularly when it comes to things like sanitation and what the chefs are doing to make sure that their stations stay in the appropriate sanitary mode. So they'll also be checking for things like whether they have brought anything into the competition that's not allowed. Almost everything is cooked, built, created right there. If there's a cake in the dessert, well, they're baking a cake. If there's a steak that needs to be cooked, they're cooking that. So everything has to come in, raw and ready. Just ingredients ready to go. So the cheferees walk through the competition area, the kitchen arena, making sure that the chefs are sticking to the rules. And sometimes they do get dinged if they have some sort of a violation on that. So the cheferees play a big part, and also in the turn-in time when they are making sure they're also keeping people away from the red carpet because the chefs are racing down there with their trays, but they're making sure that the food gets turned in time, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they have to say, sorry, time's up. So the cheferees are very important. So that's a fun aspect of it.
Any other questions at this time? Okay. So let me just segue over to Culinary Crossroads. You saw the article that the IBJ had out. It was great to have a chance to sort of tell that story. And you folks were talking about some of the legacies that we have here and the history of the state. And we firmly believe, and I firmly believe, that we have the opportunity to create the next legacy. We now are categorizing ourselves as the food sports capital of America. and obviously the Culinary Crossroads of America. And if you look back historically, there have been times there where we have used entry into a particular form of activity. Let's take, for example, the Holmans and others there that started for IndyCar racing. And they decided that they were going to make Indianapolis the racing capital of the world. And we all know, some 100 years later of what that has meant in terms of additional whole part of our economy is driven here in this area because of the fact that we got categorized. So what happens is peripheral businesses come there with it, and people start to see you in that vein. Similarly, we had leaders here that recognized the power of amateur sports and making us where champions are crowned with the Sports Corp. And we build around the idea in terms of amateur sports, and would argue that that's what helped us to have what we have, not only in amateur sports, but in the professional levels as well. When you take a look at the whole area of food sports competition or culinary and culinary content and where people are interested, that is something there that really is interesting to people around the states and around the world. And if in fact we can work, and our goal is to not let the World Food Championships get away. We want this to be the permanent home for the World Food Championships. And our conversations with the leadership of the World Food Championships has been very strong. And they have a similar interest in mind. So we're hoping that we will get there with them. It's important to note, if you dig in on the World Food Championships, yes, this is their big event, but they are active throughout the year, throughout the states and around the country. And if we have a chance to connect our narrative, our brand with that of the World Food Championships, that gets the messaging from Indiana around the country. Going back to the idea of having culinary as a thought starter, imagine that all these things that are associated with Culinary Crossroads are like planting throughout our state these flowers that gets people's attention. We have done some 7 on-the-road dinners over the last few years in different parts of the state. And if you get those people to come in and take a look, think about it. Anytime in your particular businesses or starting relationships, where do they start from? They start from sitting down and sharing food and having a culinary experience with folks. And that's where we hope to continue to raise that awareness and use Culinary Crossroads in that narrative. Think about it, that is a song that everybody can sing. Our hospitality schools can talk about operating within the Culinary Crossroads of America. Our businesses talk about the lifestyle and saying you can see that here in the state because of Culinary Crossroads of America. And we probably, quite frankly, would not have pursued the World Food Championships. We have a lot of great events that come into the city. They really sort of see the city and help to promote the city, and that's important. But think about this as each year that we can clean and refresh and bring it back in. So that's the idea behind Culinary Crossroads. And we're just so excited. The coverage has been great. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be leaving here momentarily because I'll be on Gary Dick's show this afternoon that will be airing on Sunday. So we love going out there and telling the story, and open it back up to questions that you may have here for us.
Yeah, we hope you'll take a look at worldfoodchampionships.com and take a look at the tickets. There are single day tickets for Saturday or Sunday. Then there's also a full weekend, and there are some add-ons too that are really good with some special tastings from celebrity chefs. But there's plenty of tasting action as well. There's a barbecue zone. There's an international chili cook-off going on. As LD mentioned, there's a junior competition on Saturday, and those are middle school and high school kids that are competing at a very top level. So that'll be exciting. We have some images up there from some folks around the world. We have teams coming in from Japan, from Dubai, from Australia. So it's very exciting to see what they're up to and what they're cooking and who wins, and it's a very exciting event, and I hope you'll think about checking it out.
Jolene, this is Gary. You say that you've got middle school kids participating?
Yeah, so I think
are they participating as a team in middle school or part of an adult team too?
Oh, it's a separate middle school and high school competition. So that's going on Saturday morning. And so there are
Is that
various
because
teams.
the schools have cooking as part of their curriculum, or they're just doing this on their own?
Actually, the whole category sort of started here in Indianapolis with Paramount Schools of Excellence here, local charter schools, and they had started a junior chef club sort of thing after school, training with some local chefs. They would practice their skills, and that culminated in an event at the beginning of the school year. And so then those kids who were competing in their event, well, it's like, oh, well, let's do a section of World Foods with the juniors. And so they did a sort of a exhibition year, and then came back stronger the next year. And now, in addition to teams from Indianapolis, there are teams from around the state, and other states as well. So these are kids who have typically had a culinary program in middle school or high school. But I think some kids have participated, who have just, sort of qualified on their own. There are a few qualifying events for the kids as well. It's really exciting to see what they can come up with.
That's my question. I guess it kind of got answered. Is if I went down there, do I get to taste some of the participants' offerings, or is the fare there just the usual stuff I'm going to find at the state fair?
This isn't about fair food. I want to kind of make that.
I should say not state fair food, that I would find at the
concession stands, right? There are sampling. There'll be samplings going on all throughout the barbecue zone, as well as indoors in the sort of the ag zone. We have sponsors such as Legacy Maker Meats from Indiana who will be sampling. Indiana Pork will be sampling. There'll be a variety of samples people can try, but they don't get the plates that the chefs are creating. You can understand those are for judging, and they have to be just right and presented to the judges, for photography and judges' portions and that sort of thing. So the public doesn't get the dishes from the competitors, but there are a lot of samples available.
In my mind, the competitors have, restaurants. I could be completely wrong, and that maybe they have their restaurant there, and they've got, let's say it's a barbecue restaurant. They've got barbecue sandwiches for sale or something.
There is an area of Taste of WFC. It's a purchase experience, but it's phenomenal.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, where you can go in and you literally have, I think it's 10 former champions, category champions, or world food champions that are creating dishes, and you can go in there over those 10 stations, and it's just a phenomenal experience, both in terms of just the tasting, plus it's sort of like being inside the ropes with the talent, because those chefs are the ones that are actually creating it, and they'll talk to you ad nauseum in terms of on there, because you get a chance to really see the passion behind the talent.
They'll tell you all about it. And the Taste of the WFC, those are chefs who have won various categories in the past. So it's fun to see what they have cooked up as their specialties. So that's available as well as an add-on experience.
The judges' portions, if I was a judge, would probably have to be a little bit higher than typically is you see for a judge's portion.
It is great fun to judge, I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you what, though, Jeff, when you're back there and you get behind, we've had a chance to go behind, and you get to where you're on your 8th sample of a big old thick burger. Those samples don't have to be really big, and you come out of there saying, "Man, I am stuffed."
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm going to go check this one out, because I can't believe what they did with their particular dish. It's really exciting to see. And it's really exciting for laymen. I mean, we've done some research, and, one of the most attractive categories for content for folks 31 to 34 years old is related to culinary and food. And so if you're a layman or a foodie that goes out there, watching the talent over those 90-minute sessions is unbelievable. The knife skills, the preparation, the planning that goes in there to it, the discipline. People say, "Oh, what do you mean about food sport?" I mean, there is a team there that has to be in sync. One of our competitors, Cindy Hawkins, was just posting last week that she has been going through several times, and she just did another live walkthrough this last weekend with her team. So these folks come in very, very serious about it, and they need to be, because everybody else from around the country has their eye on the prize.
I do want to point out that it is not just professional chefs. So there are home cooks participating as well, who have won in various categories. As a matter of fact, the overall winner 5 years ago was a home chef, a home cook, who just knocked it out of the park. So there are professional chefs, home cooks, and a lot of professional barbecue teams as well. So it's a variety.
Yeah, and those barbecue teams that come in, they've got some personality, as you can imagine. They come rolling in a few days before, and they actually, have to start their particular items there the night before, and so they settle in. And you saw a little bit in that sizzle reel. Man, they love to compete, and they really get excited when they win.
Yeah, I also wanted to point out that that there are judging classes available in case anybody, is so inclined that they want to learn how to judge in food sport. I think that there is another class that'll be available this weekend as well.
It was part of my responsibilities with Kiwanis International. Many, many years ago, I went down to Montgomery, Alabama. Our Montgomery Club runs the National State Fair down there. Yep. They had a pie competition, and they asked me if I would be a judge for the pie competition. I was like, yes, I will. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Take advantage of
but
that.
it was a blind taste test, and I'd be darned if the same woman didn't keep winning. And boy, it was vipers by the end of the thing. The other participants were very upset with the judges because we kept picking the same person. She just made great pies, but I think that was enough judging for me.
Well, it is very fun, and I hope you'll all consider coming out. I'll be out there. You'll see Larry out there, and lots of local chefs and chefs from all over. So come out and see what it's all about.
Any other questions for Larry or Jolene?
I will just tell you, thank you so much. We appreciated the forum. We appreciate the forum for being able to be with you folks. And, just like the others with the narrative, once you learn the tune of the Culinary Crossroads of America, just sing it every day to folks out there, because at the end of the day, it gets to be very catching. So we really appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
Laura, did you have a question? It looked like you had unmuted there.
Sorry. Yeah, I had a question. I was wondering if there are opportunities to volunteer, whether that's adults or we work with Key Club members and Circle K, so high school and college age students that are always looking for volunteer opportunities too.
There's a site on the location on the website. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can go to that and sign up, and hopefully they'll put you to work doing something.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, thank you, folks. We're gonna hop off. We really appreciate it, and keep up the great work. Organizations like yours make a difference.
Yeah, thank you, Larry and Jolene. Thank you for speaking with us. We're going to be making a donation in your honor to A Kid Again. They bring hope and happiness through cost-free adventures where children with life-threatening conditions and their families laugh, connect, and feel normal again. Thank you again for giving us an hour. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.